So hey, in this video, and I will do a series for every job. I will try to explain every job, in fact, that we play in IT. We play two different team, the one with the Mesmer Monk and one with a normal Cedar. For the job that matter, I will actually do two video. So the first one that we'll do is actually a 22-minute that we did with IT. A 20-minute has TT, and we'll go over it. So let's start. I will try to explain the subtle detail and the what make the difference, and I think what make you a good TT overall. So for the first room, that nothing very special. Here you see I wait until I'm in under QZ to put my IU so I can maintain it, but nothing very special. Normally you will let the main tank jump first so he can KD the VU when doing so, but avoid the D-ball. But overall, you do nothing very special. You go under the Titan, so if they have PI and with with their elite, they will die. Here, there's a small thing that you have to pay attention. Generally, you will go and attack the key. If he casts the seed, it's quite important to not attack the mob that has the seed. Generally, the empty shall actually KD it, but he might fail. In this case, you can try to spot the mob that has the seed so you can indicate it to your teammate. So here we do something a little bit special in IT. The emo actually wait until the tank are in the room enough, and you see that make it very easy to ball. So in this case, I was lucky. I didn't even had to pull it, and it does happen quite often. You just have to go in the right position so the Dreamy doesn't unball. And that come with practice, but they always run to your left at a certain angle. You know, so again, here with IT, we do a special tactic. We actually push, but we let the TT ball the group before attacking it. The difference in record, we generally don't wait. And you can see that I actually use my dark escape to because the drider do follow when you run at 33% and more, well 33%, but the key don't. So here I will pause because there's something a little special. Normally in the previous run, the mesmer that had the dreamy should have ensured that his dreamy get the aggro and die, but he didn't. And that can be a big pain in the ass because as I will write it and it happened every time, the demon shop won't care about the dreamy. They will just keep running. So what you well actually I should have moved and went in the wall. I went in time, but generally you will wall like that, and you see the dreamy is still there. Luckily, it didn't spawn in range. We are very lucky because if it spawned in range, the mesmer will actually get the aggro and it can get a little bit bad because yeah. So here you notice I do something a little bit special. I actually switch to a low HP armor, but before doing so, you have to make sure you actually have the protective, the link spirit. I think it's called, because otherwise you will die. So again, the kill, I put a SOH back so I can come easily after that, after they are dead, get in the range of the next group. Again, I did so. So here, yeah, okay, here there was something a little bit important that I will show again. So if you look at my position after we spike this group, I didn't directly ran in the group. Look, I could have DC the driver here like I will just do just after, but if I do so, especially if I have a bad DC, the Dreamy might run in direction of the Mesmer. In this particular case, it might not have been that bad, but if the Dreamy is a little bit more to the south, it can get really bad. You don't want the Dreamy to be the closest mob to the Mesmer. So I stand this side, so he ran like that, and then I will go. So whenever he start running, boom, I DC. That's where it's the low HP is very useful. Is generally the mob will stick way more to you when you are low HP, especially low armor as well. And here there's another detail. I tried to pop a stun. That wasn't necessary because but if the despair doesn't attack, it's very useful to pop a stun or even a triple stun if you have that. because the Despair will start casting on them, and it will allow the Mesmer to start attacking early. If if there's no stun and he doesn't attack and the Mesmer attack, he will directly switch on the Mesmer, and I mean it won't be a ball. I couldn't pop one obviously because the Dreamy was there, but it wasn't that bad. So here you see I put recall on one Mesmer. The reason is actually I failed it, but if I did it correctly and stands, if you stand on the Despair where when he die, exactly on the Despair, the Fury that spawn will stick on you. They will not switch target. And in this case, whenever the big Titan is dead, the Mesmer can just run easily and you break recall and you break them all. So here I break. If there's a stun, you want to break with the mob under the stun. You have to pay attention though. If the mob are really low HP and the Dreamy has a lot of HP, the Dreamy might kill them. And that will be very bad because the IU won't be able to pop a stun at the 6-0. So here, nothing special. I make sure to put my IU when I'm under QZ. And here I always do this tactic. So I take the group that are over there on the compass, the first group. In this case, they were a Titan and they okay. In my there might be a Drider group, but there was not. So I take the Morgana Titan. If there's a Drider, the Drider. Put IU under QZ. Take this Drider and Dreamy group at the west. Then if those Titan that I take right there, I'm at right. If they are in range, I can even go a little bit further to take them. But if they are not too far, I take them, and as well as this group. Now I sidewalk because I put my SOH just beside the snake. So again, there's nothing very special. Make sure to keep moving because there's Titan and Rock, so you can get burn as well as a lot of damage. So you don't want to die. You just run like that. And whenever the second snake is taken, you break SOH and you take the snake. Although make sure of one thing that the MLK already start ping. It's not useful to take the snake if the MLK didn't start pinging, and you have some time if you do it correctly. Look, the mob are really far. uh, if you take the snake, even though the MLK isn't pinging, he will probably get stuck, especially if the more close. He might get KD, he might get crippled, and that can just fail you the run or make it a really big pain in the ass. Also, whenever you break SOH, you take the snake, and then right away you put recall. Don't forget this recall, it's very important. So you let the snake go, you don't move at all. Don't move, it's very important. It will, especially, even if the mob follow like that, don't move. They will come back if you don't move. And now I break. I make sure to break when I'm still under Dark Escape. The reason is with 30 per person, the mob won't even try to follow you. You just keep running a little bit and they will break. See, if you broke correctly, so if we go back there, whenever I break SOH, I make sure to break under QZ. The QZ will always be there. If you move correctly, you don't go too far, you just break under QZ. And if you pay attention, my I can actually maintain the dark escape under QZ. So if I have to wait a little bit more, I can still put my dark escape back, and I will break under 32%. So here I prepare my Fury. We also do something quite special here that can save time and make it easier. I actually recall the emo, and since the emo is closer to the chest after the Fury, I can be one of the first to take the chest. So make sure to maintain shadow form here. So when they take the Fury, you're actually under. So ergo, there's a little spot here that's quite important. Pretty much, there's a little arc that. So the SO for the SOH actually to do SOH with Fury, it's kind of special. You have different depending on the spawn of the Fury, you cannot do it the same. But the spot that I use pretty convenient. You will have to do it yourself to find a different spot, but you can pause there. Okay, so again, I use the speed boost to actually pull the tree drider, and then there's the Fury and the Tuki that will run. You see, I do a right step, so because they have a lower range than the drider, so they all ball together. Now I break my dark escape, and I adjust. If I need to back, I will back a little bit. Don't run forward though, because if you try to move forward, they will just the Fury and the Tuki will just run and break the ball. So in this case, since my SOH spot was correct, I didn't have to run forward. In fact, it wasn't correct, see? So I should have turned earlier on the side and move. So that was, yeah, in fact, that was bad. And you see, we lose quite a lot of time just because they weren't ball correctly. So then I break a recall, take the 2 gem. I shall be the first to take the gem or the monk. In this case, we generally do a interesting tactic that I'm not sure we will do here because the Mesmer Monk is quite slow. When there's a monk, it's actually not a problem because the monk shouldn't be at the Fury Spike. I will actually do it with Flow apparently. So generally, you will actually recall the Mesmer Monk or the monk because he has EE and he will EE on the snake like Flow should do. And then you directly break recall like that. You take the snake, you put your shadow form before breaking the recall, break recall, and you can do the ball. Here you have to pay attention. There's some experience that come here, but after breaking, see they start moving there, and it was very close. They could have balled together. So there's some experience that come to play, but you want to take the mob when they move. In fact, there, you have a little bit, even if they don't move, they might not be ball, what we call ball when they won't follow you. This group, I always wait for them to ball and then take them because there's some bad experience here where when you try to take them when they ball and they don't follow and they go back on the mesmer that want to backfire the Sioux and it just starts being very painful. And there's a small detail here that is quite important. In this group, in the bottom group, there's Parangon, Morganite. And those Morganite can actually remove, so they are called a rune. They can actually remove your stance. So if you put your Shadow Ace too early, and you generally won't be under 50% HP because you didn't lose much HP yet, they will they are very likely to actually hit you with their I think it's not quite sure of the name of this skill. I shall check it after, but they might actually remove your Shadow of Ace, and yeah, you will lose some time. It will be a little bit annoying. So whenever the top group ball, now I put my switch since I will move. I go take them and I go behind the wall like that. I make sure to not aggro there because if I aggro there, I will actually have a chain aggro. And then even if I break the aggro, it will take some time for them to resettle and go away. And if the MLK put damage there and the key are close enough, they will actually go heal the Sioux. They won't die because of this group with the Iwi and this group, and they won't run away fast. So that's a big loss of time. So really try to not aggro them. If you aggro them though, pull them in this ball so you spike it during the first spike. To do so, it's quite easy. Just make sure the melee are close enough before you break SOH. And now break SOH, pull, jump. Nothing special. Now, yeah. So there you go. So you see because of the spike there and the Iwi, the suit there, and he was under 90% damage, 90% HP, so he actually fall with it, save some time. So here I'm not under Shadow Farm, but if I'm under Shadow Farm, you make sure to not go under the Sioux. It's very important to not go under the Sioux, especially not the first guys under the Sioux with that low HP. Not quite sure what happened here. There was definitely a share aggro. The best way to handle a share aggro in general is that the tank that is there actually just break his recall. I mean, with a very organized team, it wouldn't be necessary, but in general, it's better. That's why I actually take over. So I was reactive. I knew it will break because that's okay. So you see, actually, the group was taking when he was ball. Someone was too close. There was a share aggro. So whenever he actually break his, whenever we see there's he actually have a share aggro. I know he will break his recall, so I already recall the cruise, so the emo. Well, I was a little bit slow. Maybe I wasn't sure what will happen. and I take over. If I was faster, it would have been even better, but yeah. That's also a moment where you maybe want to check your bond before doing so, because if you're not, um, if you don't feel good to ball without, especially Balthazar Spirit, you should make sure to check before. So here, that's actually the empty ball, but it's it will actually show another an interesting thing that is, especially inside city, that is not normal, but it's a good thing to know. So in this case, normally I will actually use a mini pet and just jump through the wall and do the really fast ball, which is very easy to do. In fact, I will present in another video. So so what you do in this case, so in the case where you actually enter through the center door. So the other ways that you go through the wall with a mini pet or a ghost and you need a third party program and you just HOS through. In fact, you can also have a mesmer that way there, but it's not very convenient in a casual run. So you just run like that. Try to have a good timing on the shadow form. Now you will aggro all the center group. You will always have a good timing. Don't bother too much about looking if they are ball. That group will very often ball like they just did just before you arrive. Although if they are still moving, don't try to aggro too fast. It's a big trap here that you will actually try to aggro because you think they will still move, but the timing is such that they will ball whenever you aggro them, and that will be very painful as well. So now I just take them when they start moving again. If I was there early, I could already target whenever they come. There's a little trick. The rock will always be the closest target. If you're there fast enough, the rock, you can target it and it will always be there for the HOS. Otherwise, you take it with your mouse the closest. You just HOS, wait a little bit, don't go right away because they might break if you go right away. And see, that's generally where you will act. If you did the fast pull at this exact timing, you will have this group as well. And in this case, you will be able to go there. But since I don't have them, I change a little bit my balling spot. And if there's actually a monk ranger, that's what we play if we don't play the mesmer monk, you have to tell him to come put the iwi there. So you can draw on the compass. Hopefully, he will understand. If you're on TeamSpeak, it's even better. But in our tactic, the monk will generally put the iwi over there because it's in range of that, but in this case it won't. So to do this ball again, it's quite easy. You pull them like that. Make sure to not lose the range on the emo. Wait wait a little bit on the ranger. I could have pulled even more, in fact. Maybe I was a little bit rusty, but it's not that much a problem. Pull again and jump in. It won't do a ball that is as good, but it's not a problem because see the split is very easy. It will have been a problem if you look at the spirit there. If the rune or the penguin were there, that will be annoying because the mesmer will actually take the aggro before starting spiking. But in this case, that's not a problem. It's a very easy split to do, and the ball is fairly good. And you see the spike goes really well. There's no problem whatsoever, and and yeah, so nothing very special. So here in the 5 mesmer, you will often just HOS through someone. I thought the emo will actually run a little bit more, but he stopped earlier than I thought. So you can HOS. If the emo is already there, you can just recall him. Also, if you most TT do use the cupcake for Vel, which I really recommend, make it way easier. In this case, try to use it whenever the mesmer starts spiking the ball inside city. Here you can optimize a little bit the timing. I think we were a little bit slow, but if you're a little bit faster, the group will be closer and you won't be able to go right away. And that's the perfect timing to actually put the recall in the MLK so you don't lose time. Here I'm a little bit slow, but I mean, that's not much of a problem. When you have an MLK, in fact, with EE, like in this case, it's barely impossible to be faster than him. In fact, if you have an MLK that don't have EE, you should be the one to take the quest because the MLK will be way too far. So you take the quest and then you do the pull like that. So here you have to pay attention to one thing, the MLK to not go. So sometimes you will want to go take the hunger a little bit further, but always keep an eye on the MLK because if the MLK go on the left and stick the left, you might go out of range, break recall, and again that will be a little bit painful. With the experienced MLK, he won't break you. He will also pay attention and go close enough. So again, you do that. In this case, if I didn't have recall because the MLK didn't have um, his EE, I will actually just go a little bit, do a little bit less of an arc, go right away and go put recall on him. When you put recall, try to break it just after. Because otherwise the hunger will kill you. So again, kill, nothing special. So you let the MLK kill. There's one thing that's quite important is to put your shadow farm. You can also put SOH as I do. It's a small optimization that will allow me to always come back with the SOH. I put it there instead of putting it in the back so it gets recast faster, in fact. So it's a little bit less good of a position, but otherwise it might not be recast for the next SOH I will want to put. So here I aggro. Note that if the MLK is slow and there's still mob that are left, you don't want to aggro them too early and bring them on the MLK. So you can wait a little bit, make sure the MLK actually start going away before aggroing on. So here you have to pay attention. In most cases, the emo will actually tank this group in our tactic. In fact, in our tactic, the emo shall tank the first wave if we start Veil, the second wave, then the TT tank the third and the fourth wave, the emo tank the fifth wave, and then if we play with the monk tank the sixth wave, and if it's with the mesmer monk, it's actually the IU that will tank the last wave. If you do, but you as a TT, you shall always pay attention. As a tank, you always try to pay attention. You're kind of a support player, so you want to put your team in the best condition possible. And you see, I see the emo is not there, so I take the responsibility of tanking. Make sure to not use your Dark Escape if you have your SOH there, right? The Dark Escape reduces the damage by half, but if you put your SOH, you will break there. When you do that, when you wall, look what I will do. It's a very important thing to do. Is whenever you get there, you actually move on the right, about one character to the right. See, and there's a better wall. Especially if they're mob a little bit more on the left, it's very useful. Also, put your shadow farm when there's hunger because you you can take a lot of damage from them, from their elite. So see, in fact, even there, I don't have my SOH completely recast, although I put it very early. That's because the spike was quite fast. So if I waited even more to put it, I wouldn't be able to put my second SOH. So here we are on the third wave. So I'm the tank. Look, I will again do the move on the right. That's very, very important and make it way easy. The mob won't go around. In most cases, the Fiend, if it's done correctly, will pull more than that. That's quite strange because the emo was very low. Not quite sure why didn't pull, but if I can add, make sure to not break your SOH too early. As long as there's enemy there, don't start running away. The mob will try to follow you, and that can be very, very annoying. So stay as long as the mob are not dead. So again, I'm the one tanking. I go there right, and here I did forget my shadow farm. I remember the run. Generally I put my shadow farm whenever I get there, but for some reason I was a little bit brain AFK, and see I take a lot of damage first. And I was lucky I didn't took any illness from the hunger, but I could have, and I can die. Can be very annoying because if you die, you will actually have to put again your cupcake, and that will break all your timing pretty much. Especially if you want to do the gloom without a cupcake. If you don't care, that doesn't really matter. So there you go. You're on the fifth wave. So normally, again, as I said, the emo should tank, and he does. But always pay attention. If the emo doesn't tank, take the responsibility as the TT. You are the one with the most HP. Tank. The empty can do that as well, but it's good if you do. As you saw again, I waited until the hunger were about to die before breaking my SOH, so they don't start following me and have the mesmer running everywhere. So here we go. We are on the sixth wave. There's Fiend. There should be the IU that tank. I can go back to the previous. If the IU is not there, you should be the one tanking. I make sure to go away from the hunger before putting my shadow farm so I don't get there early and go half HP. That's fair. Good advice. I make sure to have my recall on the MLK. I should already have it. Otherwise, I put it whenever I went out of the range of the hunger. And there's another thing, always target the MLK when you start. Sometimes the MLK is not experienced enough and you start running the other way, or he might be a little bit sleepy. And that can go really bad because if you spawn the mob and you break recall just after spawning, it can make the Derv Lord really hard to pull in one and pretty slow as well. So in the case, or if you run away, if you're on TS, you can tell him to come back. If he's on, you can spam him with a Control Shift ping, but hopefully it will wake up. So now you run, nothing special. Take some distance. Don't use your IU and Dark Escape too early. So whenever I pop the second group, so at this point, I know that the MLK is following me. I pop the second group, so I'm able to dodge easily. And at this point, whenever I get there, I turn and the Lord will always be pretty much at the same place because the Lord spawn whenever the 360 is finished and he always spawn in the middle. Then he moves. So it will pretty much always be at the same spot, which is with experience, we'll be able to target it very easily most of the time. So I just target it so I know on my compass where he is. If you have toolbox, it's even easier because the compass draw is dot a little bit bigger. And then I pull. So when I do the pull here, I try to go in, especially in casual, I try to go a little bit more on the right to make the job easier for the mesmer to aggro the mob there because yeah. And then I always use my HOS quite early on. So if you look, I will always use it to pass the first group there because the Fiend there won't be in range to rub. And the Fiend, if there's there, they won't have their skills up yet. So they will never rub you. Whenever I HOS, I put IU and Dark Escape right away. I take their Lord and turn. See, he was very okay. He was in this case was particular because the Lord I aggro him from really far, and you see how far he is from me. I know he will break very early in this case. So I always draw since we were not on TS and ping to kind of indicate to the mesmer, hopefully they will understand what I mean, that he will break very fast. So to pay attention. Otherwise, he will break way more down there. So you can see he already broke. So now what I do, I just run a little bit on the left, try to run really on the left there because you already spawned this group and you're way less likely to actually get a circle or something odd like that from this group. Also, unless you really need to HOS, try to not HOS. In some cases, you can very much see the timing when the Fiend actually choking gas you, and you can have just the right timing to HOS and make sure to not be raw. But if you don't have that, it's very risky to actually use HOS because if you get raw, you won't have any HP, you actually lose distance to the mob and you will take a lot of damage. So unless I need to, I don't HOS. The reason why I continue, I could already break is because I actually put a switch there. So try to remember pretty much where the group spawn, but it's not that hard, pretty much over a distant spot. Break. The reason for this switch is it will make the comeback faster. So then again, don't forget your recall is very important. Shadow form to reduce the damage, IU, and then you go back. You can already use an HOS, you won't get around. So see that made it very fast. Nothing special, pull and out. So here we do a tactic a little bit special. Normally you will directly go into the Monk Lord trench. But if you play it long enough, you will see that if you go like that, you will always have a bad timing on the Monk Lord partial. That we'll see later. So we do a small optimization. We actually pop this trench first, then pop this one, which make a good timing for the monk, and um, the gloom trench is already popped, which is very useful. It will allow you to actually trigger the cave faster, which overall win time, and you don't lose any time whatsoever. The other reason for that is that in this case we have 5 Mesmer, but if we have a Mesmer Monk, the Mesmer Monk have PI, and the Mesmer Monk plus the Emo together, they can easily start and even kill this Tendril. So if the MLK is not yet there because he's actually killing the Monk Lord, it's not that bad. They can still start the 6. So again, there's a small detail that is very important, is that in this case, the group wasn't that close. But if the group can be closer, in the case they are closer, make sure to not aggro them. It's better to go more on the right and aggro the group that is already on the MLK rather than aggroing what is on the left. Because if you do so, if you aggro the group that is there, they will probably chain aggro with the group that you're pulling on the MLK. So the MLK will end up with this group, this group, this group, this group has a fiend, so he will need to kill it, and the 2 group from there. So he will have a lot. He will have a lot of damage on him from the hunger, if with the grand balance, with the Derv, so that will actually attack through the golem, right? So that's the thing. So go a little bit more on the right. Even if you aggro that, it's fine. They will not follow you. So whenever I get in the middle, put my SOH right away, Shadow Farm IU, and then I jump and I break. When I break, I try to go a little bit more to the east and south, because since I have this group aggroed, I don't want to go this way and they go around the wall because they still target me. So for this reason, I go a little bit more like that. Whenever I broke this mob, I come back and try to stick a little bit more to the right. The reason why I come back is if I'm too far, I break my switch, I might break in the wall, and that's a big lose of time. So I come back a bit, make sure to see the path like that, completely the path, and there you will be able. So imagine there, you see where the patrol is. Imagine we didn't actually pop the gloom trench. That means the patrol will start going down. So that will be the worst timing that you can have. Right now, the patrol start going up. That's very good. You will furthermore have SOH that will start recasting. So just wait for enough, and you will see a very cool trick that is very easy to do, in fact. So you just put your SOH not too far. I could have put it a little bit closer, but it's not that bad. You go on the flat bow. It's very important to have a flat bow rather than a long bow because they have the same range, but the flat bow actually have a longer. The arrow take more time to get to the mob, to the enemy, and that allow you to back, for instance, just back walk, or even just do what I will do, which is very cool. So whenever the arrow goes up, break SOH with Dark Escape. See, whenever the arrow touch, he start coming. That's very strange that he actually stopped moving. The general follow way more than that, but anyway. So you go and aggro, and you see, even though the Monk Lord was inside the group, in fact, further than the group, it was very easy to take. At this timing, if the MLK didn't fail, he should be there. You put your IU and Shadow Farm, you go on the wall so you can HOS in the wall, and you start attacking it either with a bow or with a spear, right, to break the reversal of fortune. In this case, we were able to come back just by walking normally. In the case where those 2 groups are too close, well, this group is too close, you should actually put the recall on the Mesmer, DC at the top, pull the mob a little bit, and the Melky can run, and then break recall and keep running. So you see, at this point, the Mesmer are there. In fact, they were a little bit slow, but they could already be set up for the 6-0 and start like right now. But that's not a problem. You can still go. You don't have to go the back way because you already popped that. In the case that you're fast enough, like right now, what you do, you actually just take this group. They didn't need Shadow Farm. They didn't need Shroud, but whatever. I think I might have done it to delay a little bit because I saw the 6.0 wasn't start yet. And then you get there, you put shadow SOH. If the 6.0 was start faster, you wouldn't do that. You will put SOH whenever you aggro, you just pull out of the range and you break and run away. You can always do that, but if you want, you can do something quite cool that will actually fail in this run because they were really slow. Like they just started the 6.0 right now. That's a little bit too slow. But normally those two tendril will be dead and you just pull in range. So see, I try to pull a little bit further and break. And the MT could go on and aggro them, so they wouldn't even have to do anything. Like the full Gloom Trench will be clean completely. In this case, it didn't happen, but so it's not much a problem. So you see here, although I put my cupcake at the second ball inside city, it's still up. So that's what I mean. Like, don't put it too late. So here, quite important, do not forget to take the quest. Here we do something obviously that need a third-party program to do so. You don't have to do it, or you can do it with a stone, or you can just go the regular way. We do it because it's faster and well, yeah. So I pass with actually a miniature targeted. That's normally not possible without a third-party program. You saw I did put the cupcake back. The reason it's not when you're used to play TT, it's not very annoying to have the cupcake, especially inside Gloom. So I just do it to run faster. It's a fast run. Well, yeah. So ergo, I run through those mobs. If they were closer, I will probably DC on them and run again. Whenever I get max range, I will HOS. The reason is that you don't want the mine to start following you. If the mines settle on you, they will follow you to the cave without problem. So in this case, whenever you are max range, you just HOS out when you DC, right? The cool thing if you don't do that, so see that's another thing that I do quite special. The reason I don't use stunned and I use a mini pet on the to pass there is so when there's a spirit there, I can just DC, use a stone, they won't follow me inside the cave. That is very good. It make it way easier. But obviously that require a little bit of third party manipulation. So ergo, I trigger right away. Always pay attention of normally you will wait on the main team to tell you. That's actually what they said when they ping the arm mode. They tell you you can trigger, and the reason I can trigger that fast is because the you remember just after the Derv Lord we actually popped the Gloom Trench, so that made it very easy for the main team to get to the Gloom, and then you can trigger faster. So overall you win time. I put if you didn't aggro anything there, you could wait on the shadow form to put it only after breaking the SOH. But since I aggro, I can break my SOH inside the mob like I did. So that's why I already have it. In fact, the SOH was a little bit too down, it seemed. But yeah. So there you go. You aggro everything. Make sure to put your IU just after. So that's what a little bit bad. That's why I actually turned. Normally I don't turn, but I couldn't aggro it. I was hoping to chain aggro, but they were a little bit far ago. See, you often will, you can use very much a chain aggro when you're aggroing cave. And here I was hoping to have a chain aggro on those two mobs, but I didn't. That's why I will directly turn because I want to see if it's a mob that can rob me. If it's a mob that can rob me, I want to make sure when I aggro him to wait until he come a little bit. So you will see why. So in fact, I choose to just aggro. I could have probably aggroed that. See, I go behind the wall here and put my other shadow form. That's why I actually turned to look what was the mob. So because I don't want a mob like a spirit to be there and just be able to rob me. I don't want to rely on luck whatsoever. So ergo, I just put my shadow form, I aggro back, and you will see there's typically a chain aggro that I was talking about. There's a lot of chain aggro at the cave. So again, I just go back. The reason why I don't directly enter cave is that I will only want to break my, see where I put my SOH is pretty much there. I will only want to break my SOH after the spirit are inside there. So I can put my shadow form easily. The reason why I don't directly pull in the caves is if I aggro mob quite far, they might actually break. and I won't be able to break my SOH because the spirit won't be in yet. And that means obviously it's not that bad. The mesmer can kill them, but it can be quite annoying if it's a water and the water patrol here because the mesmer will probably not won't kill it, will probably not kill it. And after it can be annoying for the recall tactic for the mesmer to run. So for this reason, I wait a little bit longer here. I could have waited even more. That was a little bit close, but I saw the spirits were coming. And for the same reason, I don't go put my recall right away. And see, that's what I was talking about. I came back too close. Okay, never mind. There's no mob that broke. So then I go put my recall, break SOH right away. So here I do I change a little bit for I use pretty much the same tactic for like over 3 years. It's a very easy tactic, but there I changed it a little bit recently. So often what you will observe is that either the MT will take this group and pull it and kill it. So that's the actually so just the reasoning here, that's a group that can rob you. So the group that can rob you, there's the mob at the entry of the cave. There's the group of 3 spirit, which is the third spawn. And then there's the first group of each wave. So there's the third spawn that can rob you, the fifth spawn, and the ninth spawn. So what I will do is rather than going in the cave right away with the SOH up and whenever I aggro them in the cave I break SOH again, I will actually wait. I will generally attack the flesh so I lose my dark escape. In fact, if you deal a damage with dark escape, you will lose the dark escape. Uh, one hit will generally not be enough because of the zone effect that I think had a 50% fail on your attack, so you might need to do few hit. And then I will target the back mob. My IU will always be recast, will move a little bit. I will aggro the group if he's coming. If the empty didn't, I will go back directly in, and then I will pull them in. The reason is since I aggro them a little bit early, they are not coming from this angle, and hence they can rob me. They cannot rob me. I mean. So here, that's very easy because that was actually the fifth spawn. So now the sixth, I don't care. The seventh, I don't care. The eighth is actually the one that the main team will take. And then there's the ninth group that I care. So I can just wait. So if you notice, if we go back, so ergo, I take every mob inside the cave. Normally I will go take them. That was a little bit odd. I could have done it easily. I put my SOH there, not HOS because I got stuck. Go behind the wall, put Shadow Farm. I aggro because I didn't have aggro yet. Go inside the cave, and there I will not move anymore. Well, not much. So just recall, break SOH, wait long enough for the 9 group, Dark Escape in. When you Dark Escape, I did it. You see, the group was a very good ball. When I Dark Escape, I'm always ready to HOS out. If I HOS and I'm stuck, you must be very prepared like now to target the mob, HOS out, then go behind the wall. And then I don't have to move until the ninth group. Here I actually pointed out. So you see my shadow farm, I don't cast it right away. I want to optimize a little bit to have more time, and the reason is for the end. It will allow me to do something easier. So here in IT, we do two different tactics depending on the mesmer. The mesmer can take the 2 last group or the last. That will change a little bit what I do, but it's very, very similar. Just the timing that I will delay a little bit. So here we are just waiting. Don't have to do anything. So right now they are doing it. See, I again my shadow farm, I temporize as much as I can, and then I put it. So see, that's the 9 group that is coming. That's a group that can rob you. There is either two sanity and 1 spirit, or two spirit 1 sanity. So 2 ranger, 1 pangan, or 2 pangan, 1 ranger. So again, I don't put my IU right away. That's important to save it. So since I know they took the last 2, right now I'm ready to dark DC. I mean the death charge. But see, that's one important thing. You have to make sure to take the last target a little bit early. So already you see, not even that's the 7th spawn, right? And I have already have the last mob in targeted, so I can be ready to DC on the right mob. So, well, I will back a little bit. So see, now whenever I'm ready to DC, since they take the last two, I DC when the last one that I take arrive. Otherwise, I will wait a little bit. And now I have a cupcake, so I have to sidewalk, otherwise I go front walk. I just put my IU. There was no timing problem whatsoever. Put my SOH. It's quite important to put it just behind the wall, right? Don't put it, there you go, just there at the end of the wall. Keep pulling, and that's why I temporize my shadow farm, because I have plenty of time with my shadow farm right now. Darkest break, just go behind the wall, put your shadow farm. And now it's important, don't directly go inside the ball. If the mesmer are slow because they have a bad spawn or whatever, if you jump directly, you might actually get killed because you take too much damage. So I wait, and anyway, I didn't have the dark DC recast. DC in, that's perfect timing. I put my IU, and every timing are very good. I'm not close on my shadow farm, not close on IU to have crippled here. That could be annoying. And there you go. So here, normally the main tank should actually ping a shadow form to tell me that he is ready. He didn't. That's why I waited. Again, as a tank, your job as a support is to make the job easier, not do unpredictable stuff. In fact, he was ready, but he didn't said so. So then I take the quest, recall tactic, very useful. Here, notice that, well, it's the MLK. In fact, I wanted to say this will be the IU, but not in 5 Mesmer. So here, there's also a tactic that we do in IT. Jerry, the MT won't ball the mob here. It will actually just pull with the 33%, since the only mob that follow here with when you run at 33% speed boost is the spirit. And the group of spirit, there's actually 2 spirit and 1 horde tormentor. So you don't even need shadow farm. So you can generally they will pull them a little bit more, but it wasn't pull much. So here I do something a little bit special to optimize the time. I put my switch right there. So see, I just run, put IU DC there. If the mob was a bit better, it would have been even faster, and go take the reward right away. Then I move. I do a walk on. I want to put my recall without being robbed, so I try to go a little bit on the side, like I will just reshow. Well, back a little bit, and I actually got robbed. It happened quite often that you get robbed. So in this case, you don't break SOH. You don't break, I mean, SOH. If I didn't got robbed, I will actually just break SOH, have my recall on him, pull away this group. Since I ran with 33%, you can see that when I get robbed, well, let's go back a little bit. Just take care on there will be a mob that starts running, but it won't be far. The reason is with 33% speed boost, and you will always have 33% since you have your SOH. They won't follow. See, no one is following now. Now, when I stop to take the quest, see, there's a mob that start running. If I put my recall, I break right there. The mob will start coming again. So you will be able to aggro those spirit even if you're there by aggroing this mob. You will obviously have to wait so they come, but you will have the aggro, so they will actually come. So then you just pull away break recall and take the quest. In this case, yeah, I put the recall again, not quite sure why. Probably just to pull them away after. I mean, it's a little bit sketch there anyway. The really important thing anyway is just that you take the quest, the reward right away. So I stuck him, take your reward. Yeah, so I choose to just glitch them. The reason is even though it's the last zone, you want to allow the the MLK to go take his city chest, right? Because he skip it. So it's quite useful to actually just do it. It's quite nice. Don't make the job harder for anyone. And there you go. Note that if yeah, yeah, if you weren't finishing there, you will be a little bit more. And there you go. The run is done. You go take your gem. And that's it. There you go.